Boat Yongyut and Oat Pasakorn, Real Life Partners 2025, The Truth Behind Their Off-Screen Bond. What happened between Boat Yongyut and Oat Pasakorn during the filming of My Stubborn that made the entire Thai entertainment industry whisper, speculate, and eventually accept what many fans had felt for years but never dared to say aloud? How did two actors, thrown together on set through casting, end up forming a connection so powerful, so quietly intimate, and so emotionally resonant that by 2025 the line between their on-screen chemistry and their real-life partnership became indistinguishable to fans, journalists, and insiders alike? Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update in the world of your favorite celebrities. The story begins long before the public acknowledgement, long before the interviews, the behind-the-scenes footage, and the hints that began dripping through social media. It begins in the earliest days of production when both actors walked onto the set not as a duo destined to be adored by millions, but as two individuals determined to prove themselves in a competitive industry. Boat Yongyut, known for his calm voice, flawless comedic timing, and unexpectedly deep emotional range, entered the project with the quiet confidence of someone who understood that the right role could change everything. Oat Pasakorn, with his warm presence, straightforward honesty, and gentle charisma, carried the kind of sincerity that made directors trust him instantly. Yet even then, no one expected the synergy that would unfold between them. During the first table read, something unusual happened. Most actors read their lines with professional neutrality, still warming up to their characters, but Boat and Oat slipped into rhythm as though they had rehearsed for years. Their timing matched, their emotional reflection aligned, and the entire cast watched as two strangers built an unseen bridge in the span of a few scenes. The director paused the session, quietly noting that this chemistry was beyond coincidence. It was the kind of pairing that could carry an entire drama and elevate it into something much bigger than the script alone. As filming progressed, the connection deepened. Between takes, Boat and Oat were often seen talking in quiet corners, sharing snacks, rehearsing lines long after the cameras stopped rolling. Crew members later revealed that there was a particular warmth between them, an ease of interaction that rarely appeared so early in a co-star relationship. Oat had a way of making Boat laugh even on days when the script demanded emotionally draining scenes, while Boat grounded Oat during tense production moments, offering quiet reassurance with simple gestures that spoke louder than entire conversations. By the time the series premiered, their on-screen chemistry was undeniable. Fans around the world began dissecting every lingering gaze, every soft smile, every moment in which their characters edged closer to vulnerability. But what viewers did not know was that behind the scenes, the connection had already shifted from co-stars who worked well together to two individuals who had begun building a relationship defined by trust, admiration, and a growing emotional attachment that neither could dismiss. Then came 2025, the year everything changed. The press began noticing the details first. Boat and Oat arrived at events together, left together, and were seen laughing during commercial breaks in ways that felt less scripted and more genuinely intimate. They appeared on live streams with inside jokes that only the two of them understood. They were spotted shopping for groceries late at night, something neither actor had ever done publicly with a co-star before. Photographs emerged of them walking side by side after gym sessions, sharing umbrellas in the rain, and exchanging quiet glances during interviews that needed no explanation. Fans started calling them partners in everything, a phrase that quickly trended across Thai social media. And then, as public curiosity reached its peak, Boat Yongyut made the comment that changed everything. During a long-form interview for a major entertainment magazine, he was asked about his ideal partner, not necessarily romantic, but someone he trusted, someone he could build a future with. Boat hesitated briefly, smiled, and said only, "I already have someone like that." The internet exploded. Everyone knew exactly who he meant. But it wasn't until Oat Pasakorn, in his own interview weeks later, echoed the sentiment, saying that Boat was the person he leaned on the most, the person who understood him deeply, the person he hoped would remain in his life for a very long time, that the truth began to crystallize. By mid-2025, their families were seen together at private gatherings. Boat attended Oat's sister's birthday dinner. Oat visited Boat's mother during the New Year celebrations. Rumors circulated that their families were deeply supportive, recognizing that the bond between the two young actors had grown beyond temporary affection and into something lasting. And even though neither Boat nor Oat used labels or gave public declarations, their actions spoke more clearly than any official statement ever could. They traveled together. They spent holidays together. They openly supported each other's projects. Their social media posts softened, filled with subtle acknowledgements and shared moments that fans interpreted with joy and respect. But the moment that truly confirmed their real partnership came when the director of My Stubborn himself addressed the audience during a fan event, speaking with the kind of fond amusement reserved only for truths everyone already knows. He said, "Some chemistry is written. Some is created. But what Boat and Oat share, that wasn't created by us. That was real from the beginning." And the crowd erupted. In the end, what made the world believe in Boat Yongyut and Oat Pasakorn's real-life partnership was not a press conference, not a confession, not a scripted announcement. It was the tenderness in their interactions, the ease of their connection, the way their lives remained intertwined long after the cameras turned off. It was the quiet certainty that some relationships, no matter how private, cannot be hidden because they shine too brightly, too honestly, too naturally for the world to ignore. Boat Yongyut arrived first, stepping out of a dark-tinted car, dressed simply in a white shirt and loose trousers, the kind of minimal attire only someone very comfortable in their own skin would choose. He moved with that familiar mix of quiet confidence and gentle energy that fans had come to adore, taking slow breaths as he gazed out toward the water, as though grounding himself before the day ahead. There was no tension in his posture, only the calm stillness of someone waiting for a person he knew well, someone he trusted. Minutes later, Oat Pasakorn arrived from the opposite direction, carrying a small bag slung casually over his shoulder, headphones resting around his neck. He was unaware that Boat had already spotted him. He walked with that effortless, almost playful stride that had defined his character in My Stubborn, but this time it was completely unfiltered, unperformed, natural in a way that only appears when someone is entirely themselves. When he finally saw Boat waiting, something softened in his expression, a subtle shift that said more than any statement ever could. The exchange between them was silent, but the meaning behind it was unmistakable. Oat lifted a hand in a small wave, almost shy, while Boat's smile widened just enough to reveal the familiarity, the warmth, the connection that had clearly deepened in the months after the drama ended. They did not greet each other with the stiff politeness expected from co-stars. Instead, they stepped close, shoulders almost touching, moving with an ease that spoke of shared time, shared secrets, shared understanding. That was the moment the passing stranger captured in a single photograph. The moment neither actor realized would send their names surging to the top of every trending chart across Southeast Asia within hours. Because fans did not see two co-workers catching up. They saw chemistry that had never faded, body language that could not be choreographed, and a level of comfort that hinted at something nurtured privately long after filming stopped. Comment sections exploded with theories, retrospectives, and meticulous breakdowns of every interaction Boat and Oat had ever shared. Clips from behind-the-scenes interviews resurfaced, showing how effortlessly they laughed together, how often they stole glances, how naturally their conversations flowed even when cameras were not rolling. Viewers noticed the moments where Boat would unconsciously lean closer, or where Oat's expression softened into a grin reserved only for him. Yet the true shock did not come from the public discoveries. It came from what happened next. A staff member from the marina later leaked that Boat and Oat had boarded a small private boat together, not for filming, but for a quiet morning away from the noise, a personal retreat that had nothing to do with work. They sat side by side at the front of the boat, speaking softly enough that even the captain could not hear their words. At one point, Oat pulled out a thermos he had brought from home, pouring warm tea into 2 cups, handing one to Boat with a smile that held the weight of familiarity. Boat took it with a nod that needed no explanation, and the two continued their conversation as the boat drifted across the river, carried gently by the current. Witnesses at the pier described the scene as unexpectedly intimate, not because of romantic gestures or dramatic displays, but because of the quietness of it, the natural ease, the unspoken connection that did not need to announce itself to be felt. One staff member even admitted that the way the two stars looked at each other reminded him of a couple who had long passed the stage of nervous excitement and settled instead into the comfort of actually knowing one another. By the time the boat returned, the internet had already erupted into speculation. Fans dissected the photo, zooming in, enhancing details, interpreting everything from the angle of their bodies to the soft expressions in their eyes. Articles emerged within hours, claiming insider knowledge, hinting at a secret relationship, suggesting that the on-screen bond from My Stubborn had indeed transitioned into a real partnership.